This is your host Dorothy Shelton, aka Natura Vita, and this is yet another segment from the video I posted about the coming new Earth from the book The Convoluted Universe, Book 2 by Dolores Cannon. If you want to hear the full chapter, which is full of mind-bending concepts and information, I will leave the link in the info box and at the end of this video. So this particular part of that chapter focuses on the importance of remaining in a state of peace and joy, no matter what is happening around us. As we know, there has been a lot of turmoil and uncertainty since the beginning of this year, 2020. All the challenges that many people are facing has triggered a longing for spirituality and hope in many, while others have become more fearful and distrustful towards those in leadership. I know from personal experience, I also at one point allowed myself to get sucked into the fear, and I started to become more defensive and anxious. But shortly after that, an awakening happened for me, and I decided that I always want to remain peaceful and hopeful, no matter what circumstances I face. It is also the same message that is being shared in this snippet about the new Earth. No matter what circumstances we face, we have the choice to act in love or out of fear. Personally, knowing that Earth is only a school where we come to experience and expand as a soul helps me to stay present and peaceful, no matter what my outer circumstances might be. Another question that was touched upon in the chapter is, what about those souls who are not ready to make the shift into the new Earth and still need to work out karma? It is said that these souls will simply reincarnate into another world where they will have the opportunity to do just that. There is no right or wrong, because at the end, we are all sparks of God, seeking to experience all that is. We're eternal, and one day, our destiny is to go back to the God source of which we came from. But until then, we are taking part in the grand game of experience and growth. So let us embrace it fully and enjoy the ride. So I hope you enjoy this final segment from the book The Convoluted Universe, Book 2, about the new Earth.
The cells of the body, the vibration of the body is changing and is matching the vibration of the incoming energy. And the physical changes will be next.
What will those physical changes be?
Oh, the body's going to change to be lighter. And I'm getting that it will look taller. It's not that it's going to be taller, but the energy from within is somehow going to become visible on the outside. And it will make the body seem taller, elongated, slimmer, and more transparent.
Transparent?
Yes, it's a pioneering thing.
Is this the way the people on Earth will be evolving?
Yes.
Will everyone make the change?
Yes, because the people have all been given that choice. If they want to evolve with the Earth and stay here, they will evolve into this new human being. It will look different, and that's what this experiment is about. That's why Christine and others are moving the ones who don't want to evolve with the Earth. They are going to leave.
Almost crying.
And bring a lot of pain to their families. But the people who are staying must hold the light. That's a big job. To get divorced and separated from these things that are happening now. And these things are going to continue to happen until the cleansing is complete. Those who are here to stay are taking this race of people into a very new and different civilization. Those people are being tested now to see if they can hold the light when there's a disaster and not be sucked in. They're the people who will move ahead with this planet.
Almost like a last test, you mean?
Yes, the testing is going on right now. Whatever each being needs to test them, to see what they're capable of giving back to this program, how firm their commitment is, how willing they are to serve. That is all being tested now.
So each one is having their own individual test?
Yes. And the people who are finding it tough now are the ones who are staying. They're the ones who are going through the tests, but some of them are not coming through.
They're not passing the test.
No, there are some who are not.
This is what I was told by other people, that some would be left behind.
Yes.
And I thought that sounded cruel.
No, it's not cruel, because each soul is given the choice. And if they are not moving and evolving, it's because they are choosing not to. And they will reincarnate into another place of their choice. And it's all right, because it's only a game.
That's what I was told, that they would be sent where there was still negative karma to be worked out. And this planet would no longer have negativity at that point. Is that what you're seeing?
Yes, they'll stay in the old Earth. The new Earth is so beautiful. You will see colors and animals and flowers you never imagined possible. You'll see fruit that is perfect food. It doesn't have to be cooked. It's just eaten as it is. And everything that the being needs to nourish them will be there. These new fruits are developing now with the help of the star people.
Are these fruits and vegetables that we don't have on the Earth now?
We don't have them. They're mutations in some ways. I'm seeing a custard apple as an example of what happened. We will have a fruit called a custard apple, and it doesn't look like an apple. It has a rough exterior, and it's about the size of 2 oranges put together. And then you open it. It's like custard inside. So that's a fruit, but a food. It's not just a fruit, but another food has been introduced to it, like custard. That's an example of one of the future foods. So these foods will be delights to the senses, and nutritious and sustaining for the... I keep being stopped when I start to say body, and I am being told to say being. They'll be nutritious for the being. And things we have now to cook, like you'd cook custard, will be incorporated into these fruits. And it has to do with helping the planet and cutting down on the use of electricity and energy. So the fruits are going to provide us with what we need.
I've heard man has done many things to the food that is not healthy for the body.
That's right. The organic foods are coming onto the earth, and those organic farmers are moving with the Earth Evolution program. That's why they're there. And that's why consciousness is being raised about this, because people need to know how to grow properly. And the Rudolf Steiner schools are teaching children this. So the children who are going to be with the new Earth will know this. And those children are now teaching in universities and in institutions, and they're spreading the word. So when the cleansing of the Earth occurs, much of that toxicity is going to be pushed away. You see, the new Earth is not this dimension. The new Earth is another dimension. And we will move into that new dimension. And in that new dimension, there'll be these trees that have purple and orange in their trunks. And there will be beautiful rivers and waterfalls. And the energy will be brought back. There will be energy in the streams and the water that goes over rocks and sandbanks. And it hits the earth. It creates energy and will be straightened out in this world. Many of these streams have been straightened out to make them navigable and nice. That's taking away the energy from the earth. The earth is going to be cleansed. I'm seeing water.
Does this have to occur before the Earth shifts and evolves into the new dimension?
I'm seeing us stepping through.
Startled.
Oh, what I'm seeing is that the people who are going to the new dimension will step through into this new world.
While the other one is being cleansed?
Yes, yes.
What do you see about the water that will happen with the cleansing?
It's not going to be shown to me.
They don't want you to see it?
No, they won't show me that. What they're showing me is an opening, and we step through. We step into what looks like this earth, but it's different colors, it's different textures. At first, it looks the same, at first only. And then as we look around, we start to see that it's not. It's changing before our eyes, and it's so beautiful.
But this is not the spirit side? Because the spirit side is described as being very beautiful also.
No, it's the new earth. It's not the spirit side. It's the fifth dimensional Earth. Some people will pass through before others. I'm being told to tell you now that Christine has been there several times. There's a group going to go through now, and she'll be bringing more through, and they'll be coming and going a bit until they go for good.
Then the others will be left on the old Earth?
Yes, the ones that are choosing to stay will stay.
They'll be undergoing a lot of hardships, won't they?
Yes, the whole planet.
Startled.
I just saw the whole planet explode. That's horrible, isn't it?
What do you think that means?
I don't know. I just saw it explode. But I saw the new Earth. There's this beautiful fifth-dimensional place with harmony and peace.
When they showed you the planet exploding, is that just symbolic? As though the Earth will no longer exist for the ones who cross over?
Well, the people who have crossed over are watching what's happening. They can see. Now, is it going to explode? They're saying to me, don't get caught up with what's going to happen, because you've got to focus on the light. And that's the challenge for these people who are going to be in the new Earth. The challenge for them is to not get caught up in anything that's going to happen, because that's what pulls us back into the third dimension. And that's what happened to many people who were on a path forward. They've been pulled back because they got caught up in the fear and the sadness and regret and the black stuff. So they're saying, you don't need to know because it wouldn't serve anybody if it were known. So really what they are saying is, focus on the good stuff. Focus on the fact that there is going to be this beautiful new existence, new dimension, that many people on the earth are going to be moving into, who are already moving into.
I was told whenever you cross over, you will be in the same physical body that you have now. You will just be changed.
Yes, you will still be in the same body, but it's going to change.
So it can be done without dying or leaving the body. It's a different thing altogether.
Yes, we just walk across. Christine's done it before, and she knows how to do it. She's done it and understands it.
But it will be sad because there will be so many people that won't understand what's happening. It's so hard with so many, I want to say ordinary, people out there who have no idea of anything except the religion they've been taught. They don't know that this other is possible.
Yes, but they're not ordinary. They only seem ordinary. It's a mask they're wearing. They're changing.
But there still are a lot of people who haven't even thought about these things.
Yes, but they'll be choosing not to awaken, and that is their choice. We have to respect that. They have been given the choice like everybody on the earth, and they have made that choice. And that's okay. It's all right. It's fine.
So if they have to go to another place to work out the negative karma, that's part of their evolvement?
Yes.
But do you see a majority of people evolving to the next dimension?
No, not the majority. And the numbers, to some extent, are not important, because what will be, will be. And the more people that can awaken and take that journey, the more people there'll be. And that's why so many of you are doing this work, to help people open up to the journey and let go of the fear, and step into that void where anything is possible, where the blackness is residing. And that's what you people are all doing, and you need to do it. And everybody you speak to then goes out and does it as well. You may not be aware of it, but you're acting like Christ. Everyone you speak to becomes a disciple, and they go out, and they in turn awaken other people. So it's working, and it's soon. It's all happening soon.
Do you have any idea of a time period?
The next years will be I'm getting the word decision point. It will be the cutoff point. I think it means that those who have not decided by then will be left behind. It's critical.
But there are some entire countries in the world that are not ready for this. That's why I am thinking there are many people that won't make the crossover.
There's more happening than people know about. I'm seeing some countries where people are being persecuted. The reason that's happening is to awaken spirituality, because persecution causes it. When people are persecuted, or when they're facing death, or when they're facing huge human feats, that is a trigger that awakens people. And that's the purpose of much of the persecution that's occurring at the moment. To make sure that these people are awakened. So that's the positive side of it.
Is there something that triggers it or precipitates it?
It's like the curtain drops, and I'm not allowed to see. I'm just being told that it will be the end of one and the beginning of another.
They're trying to lead us into war at this time, 2002. Do you think it has something to do with that?
I'm afraid that's the test. I said that many people were being tested, and I didn't realize it then, but I do now. That's all part of the test, if we can keep ourselves separated from that. It's like we have to create our own. It's like each one of us is the universe. All parts of the universe are held here.
Placed her hand on her body.
And if we keep this universe here.
This body?
Yes. If we keep it at peace and we keep it in balance, then we are passing the test. Then we can withstand anything. And those things that are happening in the world are really to test the whole, all of us.
You mean to not get caught up into the fear?
Yeah. Turn the TV off. Don't listen to it. Don't read the paper. Don't get caught up in it. Your world is what you create here.
Touched her body again. In your own body.
Yes, in your own space here. This is your own universe here. If every person creates peace and harmony in their own universe, then that's the universe they're creating in that fifth dimensional Earth. The more people who can create peace and harmony in this body universe, the more people who will be in that fifth dimensional new Earth. The ones who can't create peace and harmony in this body universe are not passing the test. That's the test.
We're trying to do this to keep the war from happening, or to lessen it anyway.
I'm being told that it doesn't matter what happens because it's all a game. It's all a play. And the things that are happening are there for a reason. And the reason at the moment is to test each human being to find out where they're at in their own evolution. And so if we hold peace and light here,
The body.
we don't have to worry about whether there's a war or not. It's only an illusion anyway.
But right now, it seems very real, and it could have some very disastrous consequences.
Yes, but that's fear for each individual. Our job is to help each individual find peace here.
The body.
And then, of course, as you bring more people together who have peace and harmony within their own body universe, then instead of the blackness spreading, that spreads. And that creates this whole new world. If you'd been given all that information back then, you would have been overloaded. It's the same reason why they're saying, we're not going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. But we're not going to tell you what we know, because you don't need to know. All you need to do is focus here.
The body.
Creating your heaven on earth. Each human being creating their own heaven on earth. That's all you have to do. And coming together with others who are creating their own heaven on earth. And then expanding that energy out. And before you know it, you've changed the world. You don't even think about the world. What you focus on is what you create. Think about peace. The main thing people have to understand is that what they focus on expands. So if they focus on, if they can replace predictions with something that is wonderful that they want and expand that, then they can create their own heaven on earth. And I'm being shown in your book, The Convoluted Universe, Book 1, you give a description of thought. I'm being told to remind you about this. You talk about an energy ball the size of a grapefruit, and that ball has energy strands, and I'm changing this as I go. Energy strands which go over each other and transverse each other. And those energy strands can do anything they like. They can split, and they can become 4 energy strands. They can weave, they can multiply, they can go backwards, they can zip up. They can do absolutely anything. And this is the ball of possibility. When you think a thought, it doesn't just disappear. It becomes an energy strand. It becomes energy. It moves into that ball of possibility. So imagine your thought becoming energy. And the more energy you give it, the stronger that becomes. And then it manifests, and it becomes real. It becomes physical. If you send a thought out that there's going to be peace, and then you follow it with, "Oh, but that war is getting worse," or "those politicians are making a mistake," you weaken the energy, the positive strand you brought out. So we have to teach people to send out the positive thought, and then to reinforce it with more positive thoughts, and more positive thoughts. And we have to teach them that when one of those negative thoughts comes into their mind, not to just let it go, but to replace it with a positive thought, so that they're adding to that energy ball of possibility. They're contributing to it. We have to teach them to do that. They do not know how to do that. And I'm being told to tell you to reinforce that the illusion, I don't know why I'm being told to tell you this, but they're saying that if we could get people to think of this conflict that's occurring in the Middle East as a movie, it would help people. The other thing I'm being told to tell you is that for every action, they can make an opposite reaction. Where there's birth, there's death. And everybody must let go of any greed, any domination, materialism. Any of those issues that are stopping them from doing this work must be let go. Because these issues are not going to serve anybody in the new earth. There's not going to be the need for money as such. So why would you bother about it? Those who are working for the earth, for the universe, are being provided for and will continue to be. What you need will come to you. So it's time now to let go of that ethic of working to get the money. You're working to change the earth. You're working to save this situation. That's where the driving force must be. It must come from love and service. And that's the only way we will maximize this effort. It must come from love and service, not from greed.
I've been told love is the most powerful emotion.
Yes, love heals.
One final piece of information came through a client at my office in 2004. I believed one part of all of this was still unclear. How could some people be aware that they had made the shift into the new earth, and others would not be? How would it be possible to move an entire population with only a minority knowing anything had happened? They must have been aware that I was struggling with the lingering thought, so they supplied it. After all, how could I write about it and lecture about it if I didn't have all the pieces? Bob.
Most planets, but especially this one, was only designed originally for 550,000 people. 500,000 people. That was as large as it was supposed to go. More people are reincarnating here to experience all these major changes, and the Earth has been damaged and changed beyond the capability to repair it. This planet has been unfortunately changed in such ways that there's no sense of return whatsoever to its original pristine condition. But now, because of the prime directive from the Creator, this has to accelerate, because it's been too long. There are two ways to do this. You can cause the planet to rotate and the Earth crust to shift. And you literally, when that happens, you start all over again from ground zero. That's what touched off the Ice Age and killed all the dinosaurs. It doesn't matter how it happened, but basically it did the same thing. A civilization disappears and you start off with the Ice Age and Neanderthal man and all that kind of good stuff all happens again. You lose control of your entire civilization, and you end up as a legend like Atlantis and Lemuria did. This has all happened many times before, but that's not what's going to happen this time. This time you shift as a planet, and basically as a universe. You shift the whole dimension. The dimension changes. You go from 3.6, which we are now, to 5. And you say, well, what happened to 4? Well, 4 is sort of here in a way, but it's just going to jump it. You're going to end up as 5. When the dimensional change comes, you will literally jump that. There's a lot of complications with this. This is why it's being watched so carefully. Many people who are spiritually ready will be able to make the transition very easily. Others are literally going to be taken off planet in the flick of an eyelid. They won't even know it's happened, most of them. And they'll end up on another planet that's pristine, ready, and waiting for this to happen. And your capabilities will be far beyond what they are now. You have basically 5 primary senses. You'll have many more than that when the transition goes through. You will become automatically telepathic. They'll wake up in their little lives the next day, or what can be done depending on how it's shifted. It has happened before, by the way. We will simply shut down. It's like going into suspended animation. We suspend it. It may be 2 or 3 days to transfer the populace.
The entire world, or just the...
Yes, all the people that are spiritually ready to make this transition. They'll all be shifted off. And when they wake up on this other planet, they won't even realize it's happened. There was a shift like this a few years ago on this planet with all of us. And not many people knew about it. It just was. It was like a whole week passed by in the course of a night. It has happened that way.
Why did that happen at that time?
We needed to shift the sun, technically, and we needed to be able to adjust it. And if anybody could see it, they would all know what happened. That wasn't a very practical way of doing it. So we just kind of shut everybody down.
So they wouldn't know it?
Yes. You went to sleep that night, and you slept like you thought it was a 12-hour period. And you woke up. And your watch was still running the same. But in fact, you had literally gone through a whole week.
Everyone was put into suspended animation?
Yes. You shut down the whole thing all at the same time.
While the world moved?
Oh yes, the planet moves. You have the so-called night and day, but we actually adjusted it. It was a really interesting trick to do it, but it does work. This planetary adjustment that's coming up, this frequency change thing that's coming up. You can't merely do this with everybody awake, because you're going to have all sorts of strange reactions in people. So they think they're all awake, but yet we can shut them down. It's a bit of a trick. It's very technically involved.
So they would think they were having dreams if they did see anything.
Yes, precisely. But they might not have conscious remembrance of it, because don't forget, most people don't have conscious remembrance of what they dream anyway. And you can change things in dreams very easily, too.
You said this was done a few years ago.
Yes, it was. We had to make an adjustment in the sun's frequency.
So apparently that would be the answer. The entire population of the world would be shut down and put into suspended animation while the transfer was made. As Annie Kirkwood showed in her vision, as the Earth split or divided into 2 Earths, the people on each were unaware of what had happened to the others. This is also found in the Bible. In that day he who was on the housetop, and his goods are in the house, let him not come down to take them away. And likewise the one who is in the field, let him not turn back. I tell you, in that night there will be 2 men in one bed. The one will be taken, and the other left. 2 women will be grinding together. The one will be taken, and the other left. 2 men will be in the field. The one will be taken, and the other left. And they answered and said to him, Where, Lord? So he said to them, Wherever the body is, there the eagles will be gathered together. Luke 17:31-37. I have been asked many times about the Mayan calendar ending in 2012. People think that is the date for the end of the world if the Mayans could not see beyond that. I have been told that the Mayans evolved spiritually to this point, where their civilization shifted en masse to the next dimension. They stopped the calendar at 2012 because they could see this would be the time of the next major event, the shifting of the entire world into the next dimension. We will ascend to the other dimension by raising our consciousness, the vibration and frequency of our body. At first, you can continue in a physical body for a while. Then, as you gradually discover it is no longer necessary, the physical body dissolves into light, and you live with a body made of light or pure energy. This sounds very similar to several cases in this book, where the subject saw a being that glowed and was composed of pure energy. They have evolved beyond the need for a physical limiting body, and we will do this also when we reach that stage. So in many cases, when the being ascends, they take the physical body with them. But this is only a temporary situation, and the shedding and letting go of the body depends on the level of understanding the being has reached. We do tend to hold on to the familiar, but eventually see that even though we were able to take it with us, the body is too limiting and confining for the new reality in the new dimension. When we reach this new dimension, the new body of light or energy will never die. This is what the Bible meant when it referred to eternal life. The spirit side, or the in-between life state, where I have found that we go when we die in this lifetime, is like a recycling center. It leads back to another life on earth because there is still karma to be worked out, or something that needs to be attended to. People keep returning because they have not completed their lessons or their cycles. By raising the consciousness, the frequency and vibration, there is no need to return to that place, the in-between state. It can be transcended by going to the next place where everyone is eternal, and there is no reason for recycling. We can remain there forever. This is probably the place many of my subjects refer to as home, the place they deeply miss and desire to return to. When they see it during their regressions, they become very emotional, because they have been deeply longing for it, yet not consciously knowing it existed.